say courage or see where she went. And my mother was very upset. We had a normal religious home, Shomer Shabbos and all at home, and my mother just couldn't cope with it. And whenever, the few times we saw her, we tried to calm her. We were young and we were a little bit already hardened up. And when we came on the train, loaded with Jews, that was the cattle cars. I didn't see any here, where they loaded up. How long we were on there, in there, I really don't know. And we asked, after a while you get dumb, you get blind. And I must say my father was a soldier in the First World War. Would he have ever thought that he would be treated like that? When we saw the sign, Arbeit macht frei. I don't know if you have the sign here. Since my father was a soldier, he said, here we are, where the others came already a long time ago. We got off the train, and soon as we got off the train, there was here a line and here a line. And here was standing the famous Mengele, who was standing there, and he went like this. This way, the older people on one side and the younger people on the other side. Before I turned around, we were separated. My brother was gone already. He was standing next to me. And my father and mother were on the other side. Again, we didn't know what went on. And my father said to me, I don't know if my brother heard it, he says, your mother and I won't make it. Like he benched us and he said, you will make it. When the war is over, you go back to our hometown and be proud of our name. If you go in the parking lot there, you see a license plate with Spier 1. My parents went this way, I went this way. I went into a barrack, and I saw my parents going into the other barrack. And I wanted to run over to my parents. And later on I tell you more. An SS-man and a capo. I'm sure there were Jewish men. There were capos, they wore armbands. And he pulled me out, and he put me in the other barrack. Why he did it at that moment, I didn't cope with it. When I came in with the barrack, just like a lot of you people don't speak Yiddish, the German Jews hardly spoke Yiddish, very few. And these were all older than me, and they told me in Yiddish, and I didn't know, I couldn't know, and they thought I was a spy. And I hate to tell to the girls, they pulled my pants down and wanted to see if I was circumcised. Why did they distract me? Were my parents in the barrack at night, the next morning was empty. And they told me what went on, why they distract me. They didn't want me to see how they empty out the barracks. Came daybreak, the barrack was completely where my parents were. I don't know how many hundreds were in there, empty. Like I asked the gentleman before, a lot of researchers write books on the Holocaust. But nobody ever mentioned how they felt when they went in to a large hall. What's going to happen to them? Just till today, I wake up at night and I think of it. What did they feel or what did they thought when one by one fell? Nobody can ever come back and say the way they felt. It's just like, God forbid, if somebody is sick and is in a coma, and if he comes out to it, he doesn't remember. But you can ask him. I was in Auschwitz, Birkenau, maybe a day and a half or so. And we came to Sosnowitz, which was a different camp, and we had to work in a cannon factory. Now, they had 2 shifts, 12-hour shifts or what, I don't know exactly. One shift came in, and the other shift came to work. In other words, the factory was open 24 hours. And you had, in those days, they weren't equipped like today. They had the big fires and you had to push it in. And if you didn't push far enough, there was a Polish guy with a short arm. He pushed it in. We worked there for a while, but we heard planes, but we didn't know what's going on because you were numbness, you were blind, you didn't know what day it was or what. All what we knew, it was already in Poland, it was cold. If you slept on top in the barrack, you had like a hay bag, very narrow. If you cover it this way, the other side was open. When it rains, on top it rained in. If you're on the bottom, where it wouldn't rain in, somebody, excuse the expression, peed on you. So Either way, it was no good. One morning we came back and we saw the other group standing there, and we said to each other, what's going on? How come they don't go to work? They said, Kommando, turn around, rumdrehen, and we had to start to march. A long line. We left Sosnowitz with about 4,000 people. And you had the SS on the side with their motorcycles or whatever, and they had dogs on both sides. And my muscle was, next to me was the same SS man who pulled me out of the barrack. Like they say, a cat has several lives. That was me. Why did he pull me out? I was about the only German Jew there. All others came from Poland, France, whatever, all mixed. And it was cold, rainy. You had those clothes on. Like this morning when I went to shul was 35 degrees. There was even colder, and all what you had was those thin jackets. By the meantime, you was hardened. You didn't feel too cold, even though you had no food in you, nothing. No, in the meantime, your shoes were worn, they were drained on the bottom, they were broken. And that S-man kept on talking to me in German. And he says, keep on walking. Whenever he had the shift, they went to eat, he came back and he gave me food. At night when we stopped, he says, don't go to sleep. Nicht schlafen, don't sleep, because if you sleep, you froze to death. But one thing we heard, the bombs going down. When they go down, they whistle like they whistled. So we knew something is going on, and that SS man, Captain Wolf, never forget the name. He says, don't give up, don't give up. You'll be soon it's going to be over. And he kept me feeding, and as we were marching, you turned around or looked forwards. The group got smaller and smaller.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to swap. We're going to rotate again right here, and then we're going to continue the conversation so we can have the next student in. Okay?
How long do I have?
I don't know. We still have a little while to go. We still have more questions, actually. So you're over there.
How old are you?
So you're over here?
You're
not doing audio?
Go from the march to Mauthausen. Mauthausen. Right? Deliberation. And then they have questions for after that.
Okay.
So you're on plate, right?
Yeah.
Take a drink.
Take a drink.
Huh?
Schnapps.
Any other questions about this?
Perm was last week.
Questions about
Perm was
this?
last week.
Alright, cool.
Every day, fire for this guy.
Gonna see over
Yes.
Here, these two dials.
Drive on lock.
Names, not numbers. Frisch. No.
You zoom on him. Let him ask the question to start. Wait like a minute or so.
It's okay.
Go to him. And then afterward, feel
I'm named
out
after my.
how we go.
I'm sorry?
I'm named after my grandfather. He was also an Auschwitz.
You ever talked to you about it?
I never met him.
Oh, yeah.
I'm named after him.
Where was he, you know?
He grew up in Czechoslovakia, then he was sent to Auschwitz.
Alright, do you have any questions about audio?
It's fine.
Did you do a sound check?
Mr. Spier, can you count to 10 for me, please?
No.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
That was
10.
questions. Did you receive
Can you
enough?
count to 10?
That's-
1,
that's the question we're
2,
up to.
3,
That's what
4,
we're up to.
5,
So
6,
we're on top
7,
of it.
8, 9, 10. Good?
How's it sound now?
Good.
Good. Huh?
How do we get rid of that?
Leave it up. You're monitoring it, you're watching to make sure that
You
the
just sound.
audio is
Yeah,
okay
you just sound.
the whole time. Okay?
Still there.
So I give like lean over. It's only gonna get that.
Alright, so
The
that is
numbers
good.
Frisch.
Alright, so you good? Okay, great.
Yeah, I got it.
Alright, everybody. Here we go. Start it up and slate it up.
Names, not numbers. Frisch, Walter, Spier, take 3.
Great.
So could you tell me a little bit more what happened after the death march?
When we came to Mauthausen, we were roughly about 400 people left out of all. Came at night. The SS pulled me out and they put me into a room. And they put me over a table and they strapped me in. And they wanted to know why I survived. Would I have said that an SS man gave me part of his food, they would have killed him right on the spot. They kept on whipping me. And again, we heard bombs going down there. It's like a whistle. Maybe I was in there 5 minutes, I don't know. And they all ran out. The SS ran away, but I was strapped in. I couldn't get out even if I wanted to. Captain Wolf saw me going into the room and he saw the SS man running out. He got me loose. Otherwise, I would have died on the spot. By the way, all right, he pulled me out and he put me on the side. And all of a sudden, Mauthausen had those big doors and we saw the tanks pulling in. What did we know? American tanks, German tanks. Like I said earlier, you were dumb, you were brainless. And I was laying on the side, half dead. And after a short time, a man came over to me in the American uniform. What do I know? Sergeant, captain, whatever. How we communicate, I don't know. I don't remember. And we spoke, and he got the Red Cross, and they I still have some marks on my back. And he helped me give him some food. But the Red Cross came with big tanks and brought in food. People ate, they got diarrhea, they fell down, they died. It was not a pleasant thing. And after a while, I got a little bit stronger. And that Captain Wolf came to me again, and he says, you know, we got to pull out tonight. The Russians are going to come into that camp. Do you have any place to go? And all of a sudden, a light popped up in my head. What my father said, go back to our hometown. And he drove me to Linz in Austria to the train station, and he went up front to the conductor and said, you go with that train there and there? He says, yes. You make sure that he gets there. If he doesn't get there in an event like this, he's gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you. Sure enough, I came to München, and it was a coal wagon. And from the coal wagon, I got completely like Al Jolson, if you saw the movie. I was black, shirt and everything. I went into the into the toilet, bathroom. At that time already we saw a bathroom. And I took off my shirt and I washed my face. And I put the jacket, which was from Lord & Taylor, I put it on the side. I dried myself, the jacket was gone. I'm standing there just like we have some pictures with short pants. So I waited till somebody else came home that he's gonna wash too. Sure enough, somebody came. I took his jacket and I ran out, and I went back to the conductor and I said, I want to go to Marburg, the town. I knew where to go. So sure enough, we came to that town, and we had a switch. I had to switch over to a small station on the Ostend. And I went over to the conductor. Don't forget, we're going back almost 100 years. There were the train came in from the small towns to work and left at night. So I went over to that man in German and I said, when is the next train to Holzhausen? So he says, at 4 o'clock in German. And all of a sudden he says, you saw the way I looked and everything. He said in German, you know, a couple of days ago, a Judenjung, a Jewish boy, came and he asked the same questions. I knew it was my brother. He didn't know I was alive, and I didn't know that he was alive. No, I didn't wait till 4 o'clock. I knew where to go. I started to walk. When I came to the nearest town, I looked, and on the Hof, on the street, on the house, was a bicycle. I took the bicycle and I drove to our town. our house. And the woman said, yeah, your brother is here, but he sleeps there and there. I don't remember exactly. The woman used to work for my mother before the war. And I go in and she saw me and she says, your brother is still sleeping. So I went next to his bed and I opened up his eyes. And he says, did you come with my parents, with our parents? And I went like that. We must have cried for half an hour, that talk. Then the two of us, we had strength. And we went into our house and we said, we give you 8 hours. You just walk out. You don't take no furniture, nothing. And sure enough, I must go back. When I left Mauthausen, I said to myself, someday I'm gonna come back. Again, I had no idea what went on. Maybe you can switch it over. And we moved into our house, but we knew Germany is no future for us. We were, out of all the Jews who lived in the neighborhood, in the vicinity, one more woman came out. And there was an uncle who was in the American Army, and he came to visit us. He lived in our town, and he told us, and he says, my father wrote that your sister knows that you're alive because the captain put an ad. There was a German Jewish newspaper, Aufbau. He put an ad in the Aufbau, and he's mentioned Walter Spier is looking for his siblings. And the Friedel knew, and then he wrote them that we are here, and we were there a short time. My children, my grandchildren, they called me a thief. There was a Nazi who went into the Jewish homes, and he saw silver, whatever, he just took it, and if you said anything, he slapped you. And we knew where he lives and who he is. So we went in, there was a car dealer, and we said, we want the key to the car. So he says, you can't have it. So my brother and I, we said, either the key or you're dead. He gave us the key, and we have pictures today sitting, which we took once we got the car, where my brother and I and other friends are sitting out there. We came to America, and my sister picked us up on the pier, and when we came